When you see that stat or you hear about, wow, 90% of us are metabolically unhealthy, you kind of look around and you're like, well, that means probably I am, right? And so I think that, the classic ways people know is your doctor tells you, you just got your A1C tested or your, blood sugar levels are high. Certainly, obesity and pre-diabetes and diabetes are things that people tend to hear about from their doctors. But I think if you, if you are obese or overweight, you're likely kind of not the most metabolically healthy you could be. But even if you aren't obese, it shows up for people in different ways. So you might have certain food sensitivities, and that's kind of a first signal that your body isn't metabolizing food optimally. And especially for people who say, well, I used to be able to eat everything and it was no sweat. And now as I'm aging, there's like certain foods I can't eat. That's like your first signal that your body is not metabolizing foods as well as it used to. And so it's time to start checking into, okay, am I still as metabolically healthy as I could be? And I think that's kind of the easiest sign that it might not all be working quite right.
Yeah, I mean, subjectively for me, I felt a lot of brain fog and chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
But I just wrote those off as kind of the prosaic symptoms of like, oh, I've just had a bad day. And I think for a lot of people listening, people can relate to that feeling of feeling fatigued, feeling a bit of brain fog. And it wasn't until I put on a CGM and then actually got some real data that I was like, oh my God, I have to kind of check this out. And so this is why I always stress for people who are listening, if you are subjectively feeling tired all of the time, well, maybe you should go check that out.
Yeah, and that the energy one is a great point because it's that sustained energy throughout the day. So if you have brain fog, if you have that post-lunch slump, so you're like, wow, I'm much smarter in a 9 a.m. meeting than I am in a 2 p.m. meeting, that could be an issue. And sometimes it can mess with your sleep. And then also food cravings. So, oh man, now I'm craving certain foods that I used to, or I crave bad foods and I didn't used to crave them. But those things, energy and food cravings, they kind of creep up on you. They can be subtle and you're kind of getting more and more tired all the time and having more and more food cravings all the time. And you don't even notice it until, like you said, one day you realize I'm tired all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you go and actually check it out. And indeed, your hemoglobin A1C might be off the chart or your lipid panels might not look good. You might have hypertension. You might have high biomarkers for like CRP for inflammation, et cetera. And this is where I am a big proponent of actually getting your labs tested because what you can actually see and understand you can improve.
Yes, right? Exactly. And that is the benefit of knowing is that you can actually change all of these things.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that you talk about that is absolutely fascinating, that the provenance for a lot of this metabolic dysfunction, yes, it could be in your diet, it could be in chronic stress, but it also could be in your gut. So what is that connection between what is happening down in the den of iniquity known as our colon and some metabolic dysfunction?
Well, I mean, it really is at literally physically at the center of your body, and it's at the core of all of your systems. So, traditionally in medical textbooks, there are 11, systems in our body, and the microbiome appears to be tied to all of them. So it's not just tied to your GI, like your digestion and things like that. It's also tied to your metabolism, your cardiovascular health, your immune system, your inflammation, your brain. And so what we're finding now is that, yes, diet and stress can contribute to metabolic diseases, but those things are also impacting your microbiome. Right. And it's a two-way street. Your microbiome can also impact those things. And so I think this is sort of a huge unlock in science and medicine to know there's this whole other set of targets that you can start to go after that are tied